Board of Supervisors, I'd like to call the organization meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're now going to do the election of the officers. Are there any nominations for the chair position?
I nominate Ms. Hartle for the chair.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
I nominate Ron Savello
Okay, thank you.
for chairperson.
Is there a motion to appoint Patty Hartle as the chair?
I move that the Board of Supervisors elect Ms. Hartle as chair of the Board of Supervisors for 2026.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call for the vote?
Aye.
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 Nay.
Nay.
Okay, thank you. Patty?
Thank you. All right, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to chair for the Halfmoon Township Board of Supervisors, and we will continue through this agenda item to complete the rest of the election of officers, and then I'll make a few comments prior to public comments. So I will now open nominations for the vice chair position.
I nominate Ms. Perkins for Vice Chair of the Board of Supervisors, 2026.
Any further nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Ron Savello for vice chair.
Okay, any further nominations? Okay, I will close the nominations, and I will entertain a motion for the vice chair.
I move to nominate Ms. Perkins for the Board of Supervisors elect as Vice Chair 2026.
Okay, I will second that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed,
Nay.
please say no. Okay. Ms. Perkins will be the Vice Chair for 2026. We will now proceed through the rest of the appointments for our positions. We have the Township Secretary. Do I have a motion for the appointment of the Township Secretary?
I move. Go ahead.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Amy M. Smith as Township Secretary.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Amy is appointed. Township Treasurer.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Brett Laird as Township Treasurer.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we need a motion for the Township Roadmaster.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Chuck L. Beck as Township Roadmaster.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now that we've gone through that, I would like to take this time to acknowledge Chuck Beck Sr. and Dave Piper for their 6 years of service to Halfmoon Township. At our last meeting, Mr. Helms presented each with a certificate of appreciation from PSAP, so we appreciate that, and we recognize them for their service. And we also welcome Lauren Nauman and Bruce Helms to our board for 2026 and forward, and look forward to their contributions to our township. I personally look forward to working with both of them and learning from their experience and their commitment to our township. And I also want to take this time, too, to thank all citizens who have served us in various capacities over the past year, and it's been very much appreciated. There have been from different committees and different services, volunteering for a variety of things, so we appreciate that. So now we will move on to public comments, and members of the public are invited to make comments on any items that are on the agenda or not on the agenda. Since this is an organizational meeting, we will be just going down through, so all public comments will be at the beginning of the meeting at this time. And anybody wishing to speak may come up to the table, identify themselves, and you have 5 minutes. So we will now open the public comment period. Yes, Mr. Thompson?
I'm Douglas Thompson. My home is at 4525 Halfmoon Valley Road, most of the way to the county line. I've been a resident of Halfmoon Township since 1971, so I have a bit of longevity. My comments are going to be impromptu, but from the heart. There are 3 things which I would like to have you give some thought to. The first, I think, is easy, and that is, in the late 1970s, Doug McNeil, Ralph Seeley, and Elwood Way put together a book which is a part of the Center County Heritage. I think that a few copies may still be available at Center Mansion. Now, to the extent that I follow a few real estate transactions in the Gazette in Halfmoon Township, I sense that there may be one every 2 or 3 weeks. It seems to me it would be worthwhile for the township to consider investing a bit of its money in producing copies of this book and distributing a copy to each of the township's new residents. This township has an interesting, long, and rich history. And I think if we want to instill in new residents a sense of place, this book provides a way of doing so. It talks about what's happened in the township since its formation for the first settlers in the late 1700s. And admittedly, to some extent now it's out of date. The parts that are out of date relate primarily to recent real estate transactions. So I don't think that's so important. But the first 2/3 of the book, which outline the history of the township and what's happened on each of the individual land grants and to the village of Stormstown and so forth, is well worth knowing. And if we want to have our new citizens participate in a democracy which is here available to them, and I will admit to not always having been heavily involved, although years ago I was in things like the land preservation initiatives. But this is one way to do it. Give our new citizens a sense of place. And I have myself made copies for a few of the new residents on the far southwestern part of the township. And I didn't read it with nothing but profound thanks. The result were, I didn't know that this was such a great place to be. I didn't know that all of this had happened. But it's beautiful, and I encourage, as I say, a minimal amount of money to get new copies made of this. Have the township make it a part of their lives as they move in to join us. So that's the first thing, 3 things I want to share with you. The second thing is a little bit more difficult. And that is, at the present time, I feel there's a construct of township, COG, and other regulations that result in differential treatment of our citizens. As a few of you know, after my wife of some 55 years passed, nearly 5 years ago, I recently remarried last summer. And my new wife and I thought it would be fun and useful for us to have a new, smaller home on a single story and place it on part of my farm property. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the history, my own personal and family history here, the property which I presently hold has been pieced together, was pieced together over about 30 years from 5 different parcels. Those 5 different parcels, a little more than 10 years ago, after about 10 years of work, were consolidated into 3 deeds. The consolidation process wasn't easy. It took almost 10 years to dot all the i's and cross the t's. But we did it. And as a consequence of that now, about 600 acres of Halfmoon Township are preserved in the combination of the Farmland Trust and the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy. My new wife and I wanted to put in a smaller home than my present residence on the mountainside that would be more appropriate to our ages and potential health and other issues. The problems which we encountered, and they were not so much at the township as part, a combination of county and state regulations, were such that it essentially made it not just prohibitively expensive, but temporally impossible to add a home. So, in short, we couldn't add a 3rd home to 600 acres. And that hurt. So now, as a consequence of that, we're trying to decide what the next chapter in our new life will be. So I would simply ask that occasionally thought needs to be given to the history of what people have contributed to the township and whether or not the regulations are appropriate to what people are attempting to accomplish. That's item 2. And the third, and thank you for granting me more than 2 minutes. This was occasionally the case in the past. The third is something that, in a way, has been a minor irritant to me for now more than half a century. I first became acquainted with Hugh Wilson Jr. in the early 1970s because the first 5 years my wife and I spent in Halfmoon Township were in what was the former Gray property up near the township boundary with Patton. We rented there for 5 years before we moved down to 4525 Halfmoon Valley. When we moved down, one of the things that was very conspicuous was a dump in the woods along a tributary to Halfmoon Creek. A dump. It was probably polluting the soil, certainly was not adding to the quality of water in that tributary of Halfmoon Creek. A few years later, I don't remember the exact year, Hugh Wilson's son committed suicide in a log cabin along Loveville Road. Ever since that occurred, that log cabin has essentially been a standing remnant, partially burned out along Loveville Road. No change. Well, then there was a house trailer. It's over the bank between Loveville Road and the Fisher Farm. It's inconspicuous, mostly because of overgrowth and whatnot. But abandoned, slowly disintegrating and falling apart. A second, sort of an eyesore, but a pollutant source among other things. Sometime within the last couple of weeks, I don't know which windstorm it was, but some of you know, I think it was a year or so ago, when the barn up at what was the Tom Wilson property, now where Patty and Marlon Burns lived. Part of that barn was destroyed by one of the windstorms. They rebuilt it. It looks like new. It's an addition, historically and otherwise, to the township. Sometime in the last couple of weeks, I don't know which storm, but now another barn has come down. It's on what was the Goss property of the Hugh Wilson property. And that barn is now down. And it's not just a minor eyesore, it's off the road. But from my point of view, among other things, it's a hazard and it's a fire hazard. Because less than a few months ago, there was a combine fire. I think it's the 5th within a crow's flight of Halfmoon Township, or in Halfmoon Township this fall. And that happened to occur in the Stein Farm. A few months before that, there was a barn fire at the Stein Farm. That, because none of the Steins were home, was turned in by Aletta and Eric Granlund, who rent the log house on our property. But at any rate, so if that combine fire had occurred either the day before or the day after it did, when the winds were blowing 40 or 45 miles an hour from the southwest, that fire would have come up the valley through the dried cornfields and through the hay fields and whatnot. And among other things, it would have burned my property. And on my property, there are the remnants of the fire that came over the mountain. I believe it was in the late 60s from a fire started by the railroad. And the trees, some of the trees on the mountain still show the fire damage, the fire scars. So at any rate, what I see as a neighboring farm is hazards that have been left unattended for over half a century. Some of us do our best to make this township the best it can be for all of us in which to live and enjoy our lives. And others completely neglect the feelings of their neighbors. And apparently they must do so probably. But at any rate, it seems to me that half a century has elapsed. And I don't see, particularly in the case of things like the water pollution, Clearwater Conservancy was ready to move in and clean that out. It could not be given permission to trespass on the land. So it isn't that we haven't tried in the past, but I think a half a century is long enough that we ought to be able to find a way not to grandfather this abuse, but to erase it from the township in which we live. I'll welcome any questions you might have. Mine are from a historical perspective. Thank you.
Mr. Thompson, regarding the book,
I'm sorry.
regarding the book, I presume somebody has a copyright for that book? Is it identified in there?
Yeah, I mean, my copy is the Center County Historical Society, Center Furnace Mansion.
Okay, so,
The last time I was at Center Furnace Mansion, I in fact picked up an extra copy.
okay, so they own the copyright on that, I
I
presume?
don't, I cannot speak to that.
Well, okay, we could follow up with them and determine that.
Oh, I'm sure you could. I don't think it would be any problem.
One of my ideas would be if we could convert that to an electronic copy and get that posted out on the website. We already have a little history piece there, but maybe this would augment that very nicely.
Well, I confess to being old-fashioned.
Right.
I'd like to have a hard copy of my that.
There you go. All right, well, at least we can make it available that way at virtually no cost to the township.
I mean, I'm not going to challenge you to ask you if you've read it, but it is beautiful. It is
Good.
just beautiful. And I cannot compliment Elwood or Ralph or Doug McNeil enough for
Sure.
what they did. I mean, for me, for my family, for my children, and now even my grandchildren. It is, oh, wow.
Yeah,
That is something.
Mr. Thompson, I do have a copy of that book. It is actually a very nice, thought-out book that has a lot of information in it, if nobody has seen it. It is a very nice book, actually.
Thank you. We will
Thank you for
follow
letting me,
up.
if I would.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle Schiller. We have a daughter that's in college, her freshman year at Lockheed University, studying for her physician's assistant's degree. She's very interested in getting her EMT certificate. And I vaguely remember years ago there being a scholarship at the township level for a resident to possibly get a scholarship and with knowing that you work for the local EMT. So I was requesting more information about.
Yeah,
that.
we'll get you more information. I know there was something, but I'm not sure if it was from the township or if the township funded through to have it through the EMS.
Michelle, I just saw something from EMS regarding that.
They were funding.
Yeah, they were
Training.
offering
I
the
think they
training.
were, yeah.
And
I'll
forward
look-
that to everybody.
I sure will.
All right, thank you.
Yes, that's wonderful. Okay, anyone else? All right, we will close public comments and move on to the consent agenda. With this consent agenda, what I'm going to do is review down through here, and then I'll ask if anything needs, if any board member wishes to pull anything from the consent, because I want to focus on CA3. But we have the approval of the minutes, we have the December 25 bills list, we have the appointments of the following Half Moon Township staff members. I'd like to read this part out just so everybody knows who's doing what. For those, we have Amy Smith, who currently holds the titles of our Right to Know Officer, Center County Tax Collection Committee Delegate, Deputy Real Estate Tax Collector, Code Enforcement Officer, and Open Space Preservation Administrator. Brent Laird is Assistant Secretary, Assistant Right to Know Officer, and the Center County Tax Collection Committee Alternate. Chuck L. Beck, Assistant Zoning Officer, Lance E. Brown, Permanent Part-Time Works Laborer, James D. Smith, Permanent Part-Time Public Works Laborer, and Wesley R. Layton, Permanent Part-Time Public Works Laborer. And then we also have our mileage reimbursement rate, which is setting our rate to the Internal Revenue Services standard mileage rate for business use. And that is our consent agenda. Is there anyone that wishes to pull anything from the consent agenda? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Second, thank you. So, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we are now on to employee wages for 2026. Brett, is there anything you want to add to what's in the agenda? Okay, so we have each of our positions and each of their rates. 2 are salary and 3 are hourly. Are they up there? Yes, they're up there. Okay, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 rates.
I move that we approve the 2026 employee wage as set forth by resolution. And is that correct, Brett, that it's 2025-21?
Budget
Okay.
for this year.
That's what I thought, just double checking.
Yep.
Resolution 2521, fiscal year 2026 budget to be effective January 1st, 2026.
I'll second the motion, but I just want to point out that it is wages and salary. So, just for clarification.
Oh, from the motion where it
Right.
says, okay, thank you. Everyone.
Yes, you're correct, it's wages and salary. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And now we are on to number 7, establishing the meeting dates for 2026. Amy, is there anything you want to add to this?
Not that's not, it already, the star knows that it's not on the second page, I just,
Right, we moved January's because it would have been too close to this meeting, and the March meeting would have been during spring break. And then the other 2 were to ensure that we had a complete board, so there were no split decisions that we would have to reschedule.
September's likely budget meeting
And
conference.
September's likely, we have budget meetings during that. So, okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve the supervisor's regular meeting schedule as noted above, as prepared.
I'll second.
Second? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Staff bonds. Brett, you want to say anything about that?
No, if you remember a few months ago, we had to change mine to the 2.6 million. Amy's has been the standard 50,000, so nothing's really changing.
It's the same.
Yep.
Okay,
I move that we approve the bond limits for the Township Treasurer and the Township Secretary as stated.
Second.
okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Designation of depository. Again, Brett, any changes or anything you want to call out?
No changes.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Supervisors move to appoint First National Bank as the Township's primary depository.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And professional appointments. These are the list of all the professional appointments and fee schedules. Amy, is there anything we need to be aware of?
yeah, for resolution 2026-07, that should be the audit for 2025, not 2024. And the resolution should be 2026, and they're listed as 2025, so 1 through 7 should be 2026
In the motion.
in the motion.
Chair, I wanted to point out, I noticed in the, which one is it here? The local planner, I believe it is.
Yes, 2606.
The resolution, the document itself, I think, I'll just double check here. Just wanted to point out for correction. It says, the document said, and I don't know, maybe you corrected it, but it said appointing a zoning officer instead of local planner.
Oh,
It's the same letter.
okay.
At the very top of the heading. I just
Yeah,
pulled
so
it.
I would
Okay.
correct that.
Okay.
Just,
In the bold. Good catch.
And, Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to pull, if I can, the zoning hearing board solicitor and fee schedule, to be voted on separately, because I don't want to vote no, I want to vote yes on the rest of them, but with that one, I don't agree.
Okay.
Can we do that?
I'm sure we can. Can we,
So we're
you
pulling
can
out
pull that up then so we can look at it?
Just,
2604?
just the,
Is that right?
yes,
So we'll just don't read that in the motion, and then we'll,
okay.
whoever makes the
Do you wanna
motion
make the
can.
motion?
I can make the motion. I move that the Board of Supervisors approve the adoption of resolutions 2025-1, 2025-2.
You say
No,
26.
2026.
I'm sorry, 2020, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They're right up.
Sorry. That's, it's printed 2025.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
numbers in the blue are
Sorry about
correct.
that.
Good.
I guess I shouldn't read what I'm
Yeah.
moving. Okay, Resolution 2026-1, 2026-2, 2026-3, 2026-5, 2026-6, and 2026-7.
All right,
That's the motion.
okay. Thank you, Ron. You made it through.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Can I just amend, just to make sure that there is clarification in the motion that for 2026-07, that's 2025 fiscal year? Not as it's written.
Wait, say that again?
That's in the,
In here, for
in
this
the
part.
blue.
Just for
Oh.
the title of it.
Which one?
For 07,
Oh, it's 25,
Yeah.
25.
Amy made note
That's
of it
right.
at the beginning, but just to make sure.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully we're all on the same page. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we are going to look separately at 2604.
Right.
And Amy, if you can bring that one up when you get a chance, that would be helpful. Okay. Ron, what would you like to discuss on this one?
I don't like the attorney that's assigned for this. I don't think she's the solicitor for a number of municipalities, I think also the county. And I've seen some of the work on the solar power purchasing agreement process, and I don't think she's suited for doing work for us. That's my own opinion.
Are you referring to the firm
Betsy
as a
Dupuy.
whole? or-
No, I don't know the other people.
The
I only know Betsy Dupuy.
Okay.
I've heard the name. She's.
Pabst Calland is the firm, so.
She been the attorney on certain things for,
On the zoning hearing board for several years.
Correct.
do we know how long?
I don't know exactly how long, but it's been.
Few years.
Probably 10.
10? Okay, has Half Moon itself experienced any issues with Mrs. Dupuy?
I don't know. I mean, how often do
We
we?
don't, well, obviously, the zoning hearing board doesn't meet very often, but
Right.
when we do, there haven't been any issues.
Okay. All right. Don't have any other questions? Okay, we still add,
Still
thank
the
you
motion.
for bringing that up. Yeah, we still need a motion on that, and then we'll have to vote. So if somebody wants to make a motion for just that resolution?
Can I ask a question first?
Sure.
For Mr. Savello, do you have a solution other than,
No.
okay, okay.
I mean, I would prefer that we use our own solicitor, but apparently we're not allowed to do that. And well, one primary reason it's $35 an hour less for our board solicitor than it is for this, which is,
Right, but it's not used very often.
it's not, right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, given that we have no other options at this point, I am going to move that the Board of Supervisors approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-04, appointment of zoning hearing board solicitor and fee schedule as noted.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to move down to our appointments to authorities, boards, and commissions. And let's see, we have three positions that we only had sole interest, one applicant as stated in the agenda, so we will approve those as a block. If I have a motion, that is for a 2-year open preservation and a 4-year open space preservation. And I will explain on the Board of Auditors, the Board of Auditors are elected positions, and we had the election this year, but the one of our auditors was Bruce Helms, who has to resign from that. So because of that, we have to appoint until the next potential election. So that's why we have that in there. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that the Board of Supervisors appoint the applicants to the authorities, boards, and commissions, being that Don Ann Jacoby, appointed for a 2-year term to the Open Space Preservation Board, Mr. Reed Moyer, appointed for a 4-year term to the Open Space Preservation Board, and Ms. Susan Warner, appointing to a 1-year term for Board of Auditors.
Second.
Second? Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. Okay, let's see. So now we are down to, the first one we're going to address is the Planning Commission. It is a 4-year appointment. We have 2 candidates. We have Greg Garth and Chip Jones. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Greg Garth to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term.
Okay, second.
I'll move that the Board of Supervisors appoint,
Wait, this is a motion, not a
Oops.
nomination. We have a
There's a motion on
motion
the table.
process.
oh, there's a motion, okay, that's fine.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion passes. Greg Garth is on the Planning Commission. Now we are down to the Zoning Hearing Board. For a motion, we have 2 positions on the Zoning Hearing Board.
Madam Chair, I got a question,
Yes,
if I may. If we have candidates that have applied, why do we only have 1 motion? Or one nomination, or a motion without a no? In other words, I guess it's one and the same, motion and nomination.
well, they've applied, so there's nothing to nominate. They've applied, and since the 22nd, we've had their forms and
Right.
everything to look at. So it's just a matter of making the motions, and then the first candidate who gets the 3 votes wins.
Okay, I got it. All right.
Okay?
Mhm.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes.
On the zoning hearing board, it says a 3-year term, and there are 3 people listed as candidates, but Mr. Majeski's only served for 2 years in his current term, so isn't he still a member for another year?
Something's not right there then. Are they 2-year terms? Because they're usually either 2 or 4-year. We don't really have 3-year, do we?
Mhm.
No,
You may have,
Hearing Board's 3.
Pardon?
zoning hearing board's 3, right?
Mhm.
It's the overlap.
Were you, what does it say on the
Were you
website?
filling somebody's term?
No, it was vacant.
Okay, I'll have to
Because
look at that.
Because then it was wrong on the website, right?
How many zoning hearing board members are there? Again, 3.
No, I
So-
may be incorrect, but I thought that I had come in with Tom.
Yeah, John was shown as expiring at the end of this year, not last year.
What's that?
On the website, it had shown that John expires at the end of '26. Now, that may have changed since I checked it, because I know some changes have been made.
But it could have been spot dependent. John could have filled in for someone whose term was that, and Tom could have filled in a
Tom's
shorter
was
term.
shown as-
I'm not saying that's what happened, but that would be what could have caused
Print
that.
this out, so I don't have the other stuff. It doesn't say on the, it doesn't say our appointment time. Oh, wait, here it says 3-year term.
And then it usually says who's,
But it's cleared.
oh, you cleared but it has term expirations 28, 28 and 26. So John Hoover's is done in at the end of 26. And it says the other two would
Are
be done
these-
at the end of 28.
These
which
should
would be
probably
2
be
years.
set to rotate one a year then, right?
When people don't fill the term and somebody's filling in for them, it kind of gets it out of whack a little bit.
Yeah, but a term should end, it's
But
a
if
three-year
they're
term, it's a
filling the
three-year
term,
term.
It should still be
Without
because of
looking
the-
at the,
Yeah,
my
so
chart,
maybe we
I
should
can't
hold this.
tell you.
Is there
Yeah.
something you can,
As far as I know, there's only one vacancy because Steve Sheldon will stop because of health reasons. He was on board too.
but it had,
Right, and because the previous website had you expiring this year, and then, of course, we had the resignation, so I think, so, do we need to check on that
Yeah,
before
if
we?
you want to skip that.
Let's hold.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you for pointing that out. We will, but there's,
What are we gonna do, cover it next time?
well, there's still one we can appoint, correct? We know we have one vacancy.
Right, Mr. Shellberg resigned,
Did he?
Well, I think, his expired.
or somebody, did they expire?
They came on at the same time.
His expired, okay, his expired.
Yeah, but somebody might have been filling one. Okay, let's just put that on hold until
think we need to
so have
study
the-
this
Yeah, we need to have the
better.
facts.
Yep, okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that will
So
be
we'll hold till
on
next
hold
meeting.
until we have the information we need to handle it correctly. Okay, appointments to the Center Region Council of Governments and Regional Committees. So the way staff has requested that we do this is that we go down through and determine all these and then approve it as a block. So,
So the whole block together?
yes, the whole way down until we hit the vote at the bottom. So we'll go down through one at one. If we need to vote on one as we go through, then we'll do that. So then we have a complete block when we get to the bottom for the overall approval.
You talking as well as the CCMPO?
Yes,
Or you're gonna include the CCMPO?
yeah.
It looks like it's all under one motion.
Yeah, because
At
it's
the
all,
bottom.
the motion is until the bottom, until the, so let's see how this goes. So what I will do is I will go down through and where we have incumbents from last year, I will ask the incumbent if they were willing to serve again. If they are, then we'll see if there's anybody else that willing, or that wants to serve in that same position. If there is, then we'll vote. If not, then the incumbent will return. So, I was the incumbent to the executive committee, and as chair, am willing to return to that. And is there anybody,
I can serve as the alternate.
you can serve as the alternate? Okay. And it's typically chair and vice chair, unless the chair or vice chair do not want to serve. Okay, finance, Tammy, you
I've
were,
been serving on that for 2 years, happy to continue serving.
okay.
And Patty, you've been alternate, do you want to keep that
I can,
with the finance, or did,
that's fine. I can, public safety. I'm the incumbent on that. I am willing to step back.
I will step up for the
Okay.
for the position.
Thank you, Bruce, I appreciate that. And we have
I'd step up for the vacancy.
for the alternate,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. Are you doing okay, Amy?
Mhm.
Okay. And then we have the Climate Action and Sustainability Committee. Mr. Covey represented us last year. I see you here. You're willing. And then we have, is there anybody willing to be an alternate? I don't know that we have to have one, because I think they're going to combine that.
do we need, yeah, I don't know that we need an
Committee.
alternate.
Okay, we'll leave that alone. Land Use and Community Infrastructure Committee, also known as Lucy. That, and I'm the incumbent on that. Again, I'm willing to step down.
I'm willing to take that position.
Okay, that sounds like it's in your wheelhouse, Lauren. Okay, and we need an alternate for that. Anybody willing to be alternate on the Lucy Committee? Okay. I'll fill in as alternate since I was on it before, if no one else is interested. Parks and Recreation, I'm guessing Hyson Kim was willing to serve again. She was our incumbent. She's
Yep,
willing
she
to serve.
was.
Okay, great. Anything else? Open Space Preservation Board, I've been the representative on that for several years and am willing to continue.
I've been the alternate, but it might be more appropriate that Lauren step into that,
That's fine.
the alternate for open space.
Yeah, Tim and I can. And then we have a vacancy for the Spring Creek Watershed Commission. We had no one last year.
I'm willing to take that position.
Yeah, okay.
Do we
And,
need an alternate for that? Because I know we had a citizen that expressed interest in that. Does that need an alternate?
it doesn't,
I mean, we did not have one.
we didn't have one because we never really had a full-time rep. I guess it doesn't hurt to have an alternate, does it?
Okay.
I think
Diane?
Deanna was the one that expressed some interest. Let's see, the State College Borough Water Authority. Do we haven't had anybody on that. I don't think that doesn't
Well-
require an elected official. That
I
could-
was,
You were,
for a couple of years.
okay.
I would say that I don't want to do it. The State College Borough Water Authority draws their water, a lot of their water, from Halfmoon Township, actually, on property at the east end of the township. And, but it really doesn't affect us, per se. It doesn't.
Yeah, and it could be, it's basically just kind of informational to know what they're doing, and it doesn't have to be an elected,
And
it could be a
they send
citizen.
they send the information. They do have meetings often. You can attend them by Zoom. I'm not really interested in that. They had the Susquehanna Valley River Basin Commission, Susquehanna River Basin Commission, had a public hearing a couple of years ago regarding water quality of the aquifer, and I attended that meeting, and I did file a complaint, actually, with them regarding the wellheads in Halfmoon Township supplying State College Borough Water Authority, because I felt that was impacting our aquifer and increasing our concentration levels of the natural contaminants in the aquifer. And, it's the same thing that the Upper Half Moon Water Company protested and I guess they went to court back in the 90s over that whole thing, about them taking water out of this aquifer. So, and I mean, it's a tremendous amount of water. It's millions and millions of gallons that they've been drawing it out of there since the early 90s. But I'm not interested in serving
Okay,
on
thank
that.
you, Ron. Do we have,
Nor do I see a need, really.
we don't see a need. If anybody would happen to be interested, please contact either speak up now or contact the office. Otherwise, we will leave that one vacant. We have the Upper Bald Eagle Half Moon Cog.
I've been serving as the rep for that and would like to continue.
Okay. And
Lauren, are you interested in serving as the alternate for that one? Or Patty? You were alternate before, I
Yeah,
guess.
I
should
was.
ask you for-
How about Bruce?
I'll do it I'll do it.
Okay, anybody else? All right, that's fine. We appreciate that. Okay. Bruce?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Alternate. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, I'm good with that.
great. CNET Board of Directors, we have Karen Miller. And I believe Karen is
Karen said she would fill the position, but we are actively looking for another person to take it over,
Okay,
take over the position.
all right. Another position that if anyone is interested, please contact the township. Being Amy, so now we are down to Center County Metropolitan Planning Organization. We have that, and we have the technical branch of that committee also.
I'll take both of those, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Helms. Appreciate that. Okay, so I think we're through. Amy, do you have everything that we can make a motion on that?
I do.
Okay, I'll accept a motion for the committee appointments.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint individuals as noted above for the committee appointments for desired term length.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Let's see, we are now down to the voting delegate and alternate for the 2026 Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, known as PSATS Conference. We need, so Brett, tell us what we need here.
You technically still need a voting delegate. You don't have to have an alternate. That depends on how many people are interested in going. And what the delegate does is there's a seminar held, I believe, the second day, and you'll be voting on half of the township on different matters that PSATS is going to go to court and tackle or try and fight for the municipalities.
In the past, has it always been a supervisor, or it seems like there's been
No,
staff
it can
went?
be a supervisor or a secretary or assistant secretary. It has
It's got to
to
be
have,
someone from the township.
it has to have an officer, yes.
Right.
Who did it last year?
Last year, it was supposed to be me, but if you remember, because of the outage, I couldn't go because of the taxes. So we didn't have one, technically.
Do we have any staff slated to go this year?
I'm not slated to go at the moment, and Chuck is potentially, but he cannot be a voting delegate. So if no board member is interested, you can put me in that place. I'm just not, the way the scheduling is right now, I don't know if I'm going or not.
I went 2 years ago, and you can put me down, and if somebody else is interested, you know, we can,
Works for me.
if nobody else, just so we have somebody in there.
We need to have that by motion.
And is anybody volunteering as alternate? And Brent, we still have, whether people volunteer or not to be alternate, if they don't commit, we still have, through registration and stuff is coming up.
Right,
People can
it's
still
just a
decide whether they want
checkbox.
to go or
Yep.
not, you know.
Yep, that's
Okay.
that's not a big deal.
All right. So I guess just do for the voting delegate and not the alternate in the motion.
Okay. Well, I'll move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Ms. Hartle to serve as a voting delegate for the 2026 PSATS conference.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we are on to agenda item 14, resolution 2026-08, township schedule of fees. And we have an explanation there. Amy, anything you need to add?
I just want to say that we did decrease the deposit for rental of the building. And we also decreased the zoning hearing board fees. Brett and I attended a webinar on structuring fee schedules, and we, after attending that, we realized that our fees were too high in our current fee schedule, so we needed to decrease them to better align with appropriate cost.
What was it?
And that's according to guidelines.
Do you know the numbers before and after?
Before, they were 3,000, now they're, Brett, are they 5 to 7?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Sounds right.
More in line,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are probably,
Why was it such a disparity? Why was it so much higher? before? Was there a reason for it to be set at that amount, or was that just a,
Just happened over time.
did it
Yeah.
grow over time or something? I don't
It
know.
did, like costs increased, but when we attended that, there were some fees that we were charging that we necessarily shouldn't have been charging for, so
Okay.
we needed to take those out.
Okay,
And this was based on some training and follow-up that you
Yes.
and Brett did.
Yep,
so you removed things that weren't supposed to be there?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve Resolution 2026-08, a resolution establishing a schedule of fees for the calendar year 2026.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we're down. Resolution 2609, records retention. Is this the same
Yep.
act and everything that we follow?
Yeah, it's just your annual, records destruction.
I move the Board of Supervisors approve Resolution 2026-09, a resolution authorizing the disposition of records as set forth in the Municipal Records Manual.
Could I ask a question before we?
Well, let's have a second and then we'll do
Second.
discussion. Second, okay, discussion?
When I pulled that up, it references Appendix A, but there was no Appendix A there that I could review, so I really have no idea what I'm voting on. Can you pull that up there, Amy? I couldn't get to it.
It's not attached to the resolution online.
Right.
It's an Excel. It is in the resolutions folder, Amy, if you go to it. And what it does is it can calculate, you just have to plug in the year and it calculates what year you're allowed to get rid of certain things.
Okay. So basically for every class of record. this is
Correct.
what
There's a
it-
manual that says, for the finance side, it's typically 7 years. Some are 10, some are fewer. And then it has that. The appendix it's in the folder. You're going to have to go into the folder if you.
Well, I don't necessarily need to see that, but I also had questions about, does that also assign responsibility for who owns that document, who's responsible for the destruction, that sort of thing?
Basically, your records retention, which is typically your secretary or director. So, for instance, this township, it's me. Typically, I'm.
You're the Opens Record Officer, right?
She is,
she
and I'm
is.
the assistant. But
Okay.
we both have the authority to
Sorry.
do it.
Is that done by shredding, or is it, and do we contract that, or is it?
We did historically when we had a larger amount. Last year, I don't know if you remember, the board had approved a larger records because they were over at the maintenance building. This year, with the amount we have, it should just be,
We got caught up.
yeah, it should just be me and the handy dandy shredder.
Oh, I thought you had a bonfire.
You have to have you have to use a crosscut shredder of a certain size. What's the size cut? Is it quarter inch?
To be real honest, I don't know. I just know what we have
Yeah.
is
It complies.
right.
I'm satisfied, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, no, that's fine. Should make sure we know what we're voting on. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we are at Resolution 26-10, authorized check signers.
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve Resolution 2026-10, a resolution designating check signers for the Township of Halfmoon, Center County.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so before I ask for adjournment, Amy, let's touch base. So what will be the process for the one that we didn't fill, that was in board? We'll look that up.
Yeah, I'll look that
That'll
up.
come back on our next.
On the 15th, yep.
Okay. All right, thank you. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
moved.
Second? Okay, we're adjourned.